Hello Pisces, welcome to this reading. We are going to be taking a look at the energies and predictions for the sign of Pisces for the week of November 10th. Now, do keep in mind that this is a general reading, so take the messages as they resonate, drop the ones that do not, and feel free to check out your sun, moon, and rising signs. All right, Pisces, let's go ahead and get into this reading here for you, where we'll be taking a look at this week of November 10th. So the timeline on this reading, Pisces, will be from November 10th all the way until November 16th. Do hope the month has gotten off to a good start for you, Pisces. And with that said, we'll go ahead and get all of the cards out here, get everything set up and in view, and then we'll get right into it for you. Okay. Pisces, you have a nice set of cards here at first glance, but let's get these set up here. All right, I think that's looking just about good enough to me. Energy on the bottom, Pisces, you have the Three of Cups. And I like this because you definitely have something to celebrate in this month, it seems. This is probably work and career related, okay, as I'm really drawn to the Wands cards in this reading. However, we do have a pretty significant counterpart or partnership here as well that is showing up in the reading. So if there are love messages, I will try to get those in. But the Three of Cups, you see the three friends here dancing on the cups above. The cups are overflowing, right? It's this idea of joy, happiness, pleasure, fun. These sorts of things can show up. It is also your social circle when you look at the Three of Cups. And this is a good energy from the Three of Cups that I see here for you. Yeah, generally other people around you here are connected to this card. So let's dive deeper into this reading here. And I am just really, really drawn to these Wands cards on the board. But you actually have some significant messages here around career, money, business that are showing up for you in this week. Now, it is a week of, retrograde. Mercury retrograde is now underway. That started on the 9th, or actually, I think this video is coming out before that, but we're basically in a retrograde now, and we then have Jupiter retrograde on the 11th. Okay, so this reading, I'm really purposefully trying to not make it about that. But, this is a time where, it may feel like it takes a little bit longer to do things, or there may be delays that happen for you. But that is not always the case during a retro. And in fact, in this type of reading, you seem to have some serious momentum that is stacking up here for you, okay? And so this period of time, the guidance for you is don't be afraid of the astrology, don't be afraid of the readings. Continue doing what you're doing here because, that is, I'm going to actually read the cards, but taking a quick overview, that seems to be the best guidance because you seem to have some serious momentum here, and it's very clearly because something is working for you. All right, and diving in, we talked about how we have that Three of Cups on the bottom. You have the Six of Cups here in the middle. The Six of Cups is a card that can indicate financial balance in life. This can see you, even kind of contemplating the idea of generosity as well. This card that's associated with generosity because it can mean money coming in, money going out, like the inflow or outflow of money, the exchange of money. Can be connected to the Six of Pentacles. You see this person's actually giving here on the card. And you also see the scales here, which can represent balance, but also karma. And usually there is something connected to the way that your money is kind of flowing in your life when you see the Six of Pentacles. Usually, this may also, many times when somebody gets the Six of Pentacles card, it may mean that they're being too generous with someone, right? And, there may be a message around that to put up a boundary. But I actually don't think that's the case here. I see sort of like, the thing that's coming to mind is like a free-flowing energy, like like if you can imagine being at like a bar or something like that, and the drinks are flowing, right? Like that is sort of what is coming into play here. As I look at this Three of Cups and the Six of Pentacles, there's definitely movement in these areas, and it definitely looks really nice. In the first column, you have the Moon, the King of Wands, and the Emperor. All right, Moon, King of Wands, and the Emperor. So the Moon, it represents potentially something that's hidden in your life. This is maybe something that is something that you can't see. Pisces, many times the moon is associated with you as well. Traditionally, the moon is the sign of Pisces in the tarot. I sometimes say that you are the high priestess and the moon is the moon, but we'll say that this is your energy here showing up, okay, at the top of this column here. Now, this column in this type of reading, in this weekly reading, it represents the past. It represents what has already happened for you, okay? And I see that I see that your energy is here and that you were really thinking about some major step that you wanted to take in your career life. And I think that this week or the week that follows, but I'm going to say probably this week, you are going to see a significant result around that. Remember, this is a seed that was already planted for you prior to coming into this week, prior to this reading. And this is around the area of work and career. Now, what's interesting here is that you weren't entirely sure how the road would look, like how the road was paved ahead, okay? Because the moon says that there's maybe something that's not exactly clear, like it's a little cloudy, right? It can also represent fears and anxieties as well, and there may have been a little bit of fear that, like, around that, right? Because you didn't know what the path paved ahead looked like, right? You didn't know what it looked like, but you knew you were going to make like a major step here in career. And the reason being is you have these cards here, which really both of these cards are super similar. Okay, the Wands suit is connected to career and business, and this is the King of Wands. The Wands can also be like the energy of energy as well. It's also, Wands can connect to energy. Generally in one's life, passion, excitement, and the King of Wands is usually a leader in business. This is also somebody who leads from a place of passion. This is somebody who's very excited in life. This is also an entrepreneur, and you do have the entrepreneur cards combination here of the King of Wands and the Ace of Wands, which I love for you. So those of you who are looking to take a little bit of risk, because the King of Wands is comfortable with a little bit of risk, you may end up actually having an opportunity for that here in the future, as we'll get into as we go along. But along with the King of Wands, the Emperor is also a leader. Okay, this is actually the sign of Aries, and Aries is kind of known as the leader of the zodiac because it's number one. It starts off the zodiac, right? It leads the rest of the zodiac wheel, right? That's one way of looking at it. But the Emperor is also somebody who's authoritative. They're in control. They can. Usually, the Emperor is also a sign of success in business. So you have these energies around building success or something along those lines in your career, but you were a little bit like you weren't sure how this was going to work out. Now, let's see how this continues to unfold here. In the middle, you have the Ten of Wands, the Six of Pentacles, and the Queen of Wands. Now, it appears that you are indeed crossing the finish line here. Okay, but there's more work ahead, and we'll talk about why. Actually, we'll do that now. The King of Wands person, as you see here, Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands person here, as you see, it's actually a 10, meaning it's the final card in the suit, meaning that they have completed something or they've crossed the finish line. But they are still having to carry these wands, right? Uphill. So there is more work to do, but you have achieved something significant with the Ten of Wands when you get this card. And I see a celebratory message here as well. So it does appear that if this is your reading, you are crossing the finish line and you are achieving a nice victory for yourself here. Okay, as I look at this. And this may feel like something's finally coming back around for you here. Scales can represent karma in the tarot, and karma really is just your accumulation of actions. Okay, I've been thinking a lot about karma, and karma is I try to stay away from like good and bad karma, because karma is just like what happens after you take an action. That's it. What is the result, right? Karma is the result of your actions in a certain way, right? And for you, I think that an action that you've taken in the past, you're looking back on now and you're saying, wow, I'm really glad that I did that. And may feel like, it might feel right now like something's coming back around for you, so to speak, okay? And there could be a financial kind of connection to this in some way. Um, I'm curious to see if there is another message here around generosity. You do have kings in between the Six of Pentacles, which I think is a pretty interesting pattern here as well. So one way that I'm looking at this is like, maybe if you're not in the position of authority or in the position to, let's say you're not in a position of authority, maybe the company you work for is being generous with you right now because you have a really good track record. Like maybe there's an extra pay bump or bonus, or you've received a promotion. There are some promotion cards in the tarot. I don't have these right now, so maybe when we clarify, we will see if they come in. But there is something about, I firmly believe that other people are really at play for you here in this week, as we have double kings, a queen, and the Three of Cups, not including the Emperor. And there's like something connected to money there, I think, for some people. Or at the very least, generosity, or at the very least, something kind of coming back around for you. Now, for relationships, and this really doesn't feel like a relationship reading, but the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands are counterparts. They have a very passionate union between two people, usually, when you get the King and the Queen of Wands. And with the Three of Cups, it could be really fun, actually, as well as the Ace of Wands here. Okay, so this may also, outside of like a romantic sense, like, or context, this may mean that you're really partnering up with someone in like forming an alliance or partnering with someone in a career area. But the Queen of Wands is also an energy of confidence, which I see you are quite confident here because you've taken an action, you've seen a result, and you are proud of yourself for that, for the result that you've achieved. And again, it's all stemming back to the action that you've taken. In the final column here, you have the Wheel of Fortune, the King of Swords, and the Ace of Wands. Now, this seems to be a perfect opportunity or period of time for entrepreneurs. People say don't start things during retrogrades. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't. I mean, my feeling on that is people start things during retrogrades all the time, It may mean that it takes a while, or it doesn't work out at all. Let's say you start something during a retrograde and it doesn't work out at all. Is it a complete and total loss? No, because you've probably learned what you don't want or what doesn't work, right? So there is a starting energy here with the Ace of Wands. It's likely that it was seeded before the retro, which makes sense. Okay, so that also makes sense with the King of Wands and the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is like spark of life. It's a card that I love to see. It's a passionate new beginning in life. And it's perfect for starting businesses or starting something in your career if you're not a business owner. King of Swords is somebody who's really a doesn't play favorites. This is somebody who's a very fair and objective leader. And this is why I feel like you could even think the scales when you see the King of Swords. This is why I feel like other people are really showing up at this time. But you have a golden opportunity here with the Wheel of Fortune, Ace of Wands, and the Emperor that I believe I spoke about previously in this reading. And the Wheel of Fortune is your destiny. Like, this is served up on a silver platter from the universe for you. So this is looking incredible for you. You also may get a little lucky here as it relates to career matters for you, Pisces, with that Wheel of Fortune. So why don't we go ahead and let's move into the clarifications portion of this reading here. I'll start off by pulling some oracle cards, and then I'll also pull some tarot cards for you. Okay. Energy on the bottom, you do have forgiveness. Okay, forgiveness. We'll see how that comes into play here. Forgiveness is a very powerful thing. It can forgiveness, the idea of forgiveness can really spiritually accelerate us. Forgiveness, remember, forgiveness is for you. Okay, forgiveness is for you, not for the other person, right? So like you can choose to forgive someone and not allow them in your lives anymore. I'm not sure if that's applying here, but that's a very powerful spiritual idea, right? When you think about forgiveness, you have asked for help from others as well as big happy changes, which is the best card to find in this Angel Answers Oracle deck. This is a good sign, sort of like the Sun card, a very, very good sign. You have unlikely and success. Okay, yeah, let me get into that for a second. And then no need to worry and abundance. Amazing. You are pulling absolutely incredible cards in this deck. So this success and unlikely thing makes a lot of sense here. Unlikely success is one way that I would, obviously put the words together. But you had your doubts. Okay, you really had your doubts here in the past. With the Moon card, you didn't exactly know. You were a bit fearful around, the worst outcome or whatever the case may be. And it's showing up once again here as a confirmation in the cards. So let's go ahead and let's move into the tarot clarifications for you here, Pisces. I'm going to go ahead and pull some more tarot cards to get some more details for you. Now, I do appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I do hope things are going well for you. All right. Okay, you have the Temperance card. You have the Ace of Wands again, and the Strength card. Wow, Leo. So there is, sorry, not Leo, Pisces. You have the Leo card. Pisces, I'm talking to Pisces, just to be clear. This is the Pisces reading. You have the Leo card here, which is the Strength card. You have so much fire energy. You have a lot of fire about you right now, Pisces, okay? I know you are a water sign, but the thing is, the Temperance is Sagittarius, the Strength card is Leo. You have Aries here with the Emperor. Okay, you've had the King of Wands, the Queen of Wands, the Ace of Wands. Now you have the Ace of Wands coming in again. What to make of this? Well, you are feeling just absolutely alive, it seems, okay? And I think that something that was seeded in the past here, probably, yeah, this makes sense, okay? So I was talking about here at the end of the reading, or at the end of the first portion of this, in the final column here, at the end of the first portion of the reading, which is like the beginning part of the reading, the Ace of Wands, right? I was talking about how the Ace of Wands and how maybe some people say don't start things during retrogrades and whatever. Well, for me, like, it seems like this was seeded before the retro, because we have the Ace of Wands coming in here in the past, and it's, of course, a card we already have here in the future. So what I would say is, if there was something you started here in the past connected to business, or just like, man, if this was like a side hustle, or if this was like a new business you started, or if this was a new career you started, a new job you started, if this was even a new relationship you started, this is looking super good, at least right now. We're going to see what's in the next columns here, but I feel like there's like a sense of passion, excitement, energy, and even I get pride as well as I think about the Strength card. Like, you feel very proud of what you've gone through with, I guess is what I would say. Like, maybe you've gone through something hard here, and you seeded an idea in the past with the Ace of Wands is now coming back in. Remember, there's something coming back around for you. Yeah, and there it is. You have Justice. Makes total sense to me. You have the Fool and the Moon again. Some of you have your suspicions, I guess, about someone here with the Moon showing up on the Queen of Wands and the Moon here with the Temperance card. This may be a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, Leo, maybe Sagittarius, but it could be any fire sign. Outside of that, if they're whatever their sign is, because remember, they could be a rising or moon of those signs. You may have had like your doubts about someone here. This is actually working out for you beautifully. Okay, this is working out for you beautifully. Whether whether this person is a part of your path or not, we'll definitely get confirmation as we see the final cards here. But yeah, now that I'm looking at this here, I think you've spent some time, what is the word? Sussing out a particular person. And you kind of have all the data and all the intel you need. As I do see other people here, it's also possible that they have sort of been trying to figure you out as well, as you have double kings here with the King of Wands and the King of Swords. But again, there is this sort of exchange of energy that's going on here with the Six of Pentacles there. And ultimately what this is pointing towards for you, Pisces, is some sort of wonderful new beginning that really, really wants to prop up for you or spring up for you in your life. With the Fool, we've got double Ace of Wands, for me the best ace, and the Fool now, which is basically all the energy of all four aces in a card, in one card, right? And the Fool is a very powerful new beginning. It represents the idea of like leaping forward, taking a leap of faith, trusting in the universe, right? Taking a leap of faith as you go somewhere new. You may not have everything worked out. The Fool doesn't have everything worked out, but they're deciding to take the risk. They're deciding to take a leap of faith. And actually, as I really think about this, as I associate Wands with the suit of Wands with risk, you may really decide that you may have done all of your intel. You may have like taken all of your measurements, so to speak, and you may decide that I'm going to take a calculated risk in life around something. Okay, now remember this is a general reading, so do not put yourself in a difficult position because of this reading. But I do see that you are ready, and I specifically say calculated risk, okay? You're not going all in, so to speak, but you're going to be a little bit comfortable with risk here, okay? And you know that there is, maybe you have a feeling that luck's on your side, but there's this sense that something's coming back around with the Six of Pentacles and the Justice card. Remember, we've got the scales here. Scales balance. The Temperance card is a card associated with balance. And again, this idea or this concept of karma. And I think that you really deserve this new beginning. Okay, and I mean that in that this is karmic for you. Like it's your karma to have this new start because of the good actions you've taken, or I should say good, right? I'm trying to get away from good and bad karma, but because of the actions you've taken in the past. You have the Devil here, you have the Emperor, and you have the World. Wow. So here's very interesting. The Devil and the Wheel of Fortune. That's really interesting. The thing is that on the surface, like if I look, because I believe that every card has pluses and minuses, so to speak, negatives and positives. Some people may say like read those as like reversal, upright, and reversals, but the Devil, like on the surface, it can represent power and desire, which inherently are not bad things. It's okay to have desires in life. It really is. And it's also okay to have power. I think where you get into trouble is like, how does a person wield the power, right? That's where the Devil card can get a little dicey, right? You know, are you exerting your power over someone in a negative way, right? Something like that, right? So regardless here, I see that you've got this Wheel of Fortune Devil desire that is showing up. Now, this could be a little bit of a warning message to make sure the risk is calculated, is indeed calculated, right? And this may be a little bit of like a warning about like, okay, are you actually going all in? Or are you thinking about going all in on this thing? You know, have you done all of the research? You know, have you done everything? And I'm not suggesting you haven't, but the cards are saying like, maybe you want to get a confirmation of that. You know, is there something you're missing, right? Are you blinded by desire? You know, are you blinded by desire here? But the universe is really opening a path up for you, okay? And it's going to really be about like what you make of it here, okay? Like with the Wheel of Fortune and the Devil. The Emperor here is, you know, you have this again, right? We have the Emperor twice. We've got a number of repeating messages here. This is somebody who's successful in business. Promotion, is this on the table here? We don't have the Page of Wands. We don't have the Page of Pentacles, but there very clearly is success here, and there very clearly is a brand new start for you. So I think it would be more likely that you're starting a new job than getting promoted. And you may even be headhunted, as you have Double Kings, Queen of Wands, and the Three of Cups from a competing company or organization. Okay, and I also think that some of you are really interested in being your own boss as well. And the World is just, you know, finally something coming around. It's a major completion in life. It's Saturn, right? Saturn takes a long time to move. So it's something that has been slowly building for you. And it's a major accomplishment, usually, in life. And with the Six of Wands, you have some victory and success here again on the bottom. You have a ton of, this is an incredible reading for you, Pisces. For the sign of Pisces, this is one of the best I've done in a long time. This is really nice. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the Kipper cards here and see what we have. Okay, you have expectation, adjudication, poverty, unexpected income, imprisonment, and main male. Yeah, you've broken free from a previous opportunity, a previous career path, or something in your business. Maybe it felt like this imprisonment card, I think, is connecting to the moon, which is like you were just unsure of a person, or you were unsure of a career scenario here. I think you're letting go of this unexpected income. Interestingly enough, that it could be a small pay bump in the Kipper. It's not like a massive windfall or anything like that, but as I'm looking for signs of maybe somebody's getting promoted, there's one. But I actually think that it's more likely that people are starting anew here. Thoughts and bad health. Make sure your thoughts are aligned towards the positive outcome, and again, the desire is well aligned for you here, because this is a definitely a beautiful period of time for you if this is your reading. So you do have despair on the bottom. We have some interesting ones here. This is not going to ruin the reading, okay, because I think everything in the reading here holds up. All right, so this is what I have. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this, Pisces, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll most certainly be talking to you again soon.